How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to your favorite aviation channel, and today we're doing a one-off airport update for St. Louis Lambert International Airport's Terminal 2. As you can see, Terminal 2 is the home of Southwest Airlines in St. Louis, and so of course most of the terminal caters to Southwest flights. However, Terminal 2 also houses the airport's international arrivals facility, so all internationally arriving flights from Lufthansa and Frontier, in addition to Southwest, they also use specific gates in this terminal. So St. Louis Terminal 2 has 18 gates, and it's also referred to as Concourse E. Here's an overview of my setup here, and this is kind of what I was trying to replicate. So not the most exact as usual, but I mean the overall idea is there, as you can clearly see. Also worth noting is that a couple of gates, notably E34, E36, 38 and 40, those are missing from this diorama. That's mainly because I forgot these were part of the terminal, and I also didn't have much space to include them anyway. So Southwest is the largest airline in St. Louis. They account for about 63% of the total market share. Ironically enough, Southwest doesn't actually consider St. Louis as a hub or focus city, which is weird because they do have a decent number of flights out of the airport, and I mean, they have basically their own terminal, so I would think they would get some more recognition from Southwest, but doesn't seem to be the case, unfortunately. But yeah, I think that's enough background information about Terminal 2. Let's go ahead and jump right into the aircraft in this update. So we're going to start off at gate E4, which is ironically the first gate at this terminal. E4 with this Southwest 737-700 in the Canyon Blue livery. This just came in from Fort Lauderdale as flight 6546. And we're making service out to Dallas Love Field as flight 6069. So at the time of making this video, there are only 3 planes in the entire Southwest fleet left in their original Canyon Blue livery. So I'm not counting the Canyon Blue Retro livery, just 3 planes left in their original Canyon Blue paint scheme, and all of those are 737-700s. Moving on to gate E6, and this is a good time to mention that most of the gates at Terminal 2 are numbered evenly. So we had E4, now we're at E6, then the next one will be E8, E10, etc., etc. So here at E6, we have a 737-700 that just came in from Nashville as flight 4042, and in a couple hours, we'll be operating flight 3333, so quadruple 3, out to Denver. Next at E8 is a 737 MAX 8. This just came in from Minneapolis-St. Paul as flight 1266. We'll be operating flight 3499 next out to Detroit. At E10 is another 737 MAX 8. This aircraft came in from Raleigh-Durham as flight 2145, and next flight is to Tampa as flight 1381. At E12 is the Canyon Blue Retro 737 MAX 8. This just came in from Houston Hobby as flight 2360, and will soon be headed out to Cleveland as flight 5811. Next up at gate E14 is a 737-800. This aircraft just came in from Dallas Love Field as flight 1192, and its next flight will be to New York LaGuardia as flight 1711. At E16, the perfect aircraft for this update, the Southwest Missouri 1 state livery 737-700. This aircraft just came in from San Diego, California as flight 3491, and the next flight will be out to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania as flight 297. Next at E18, another statehood livery, the Illinois 1 737-800. This aircraft landed from Baltimore as flight 1183, and the next flight, perfectly enough, will be to Chicago Midway, Illinois as flight 3870. At E20, we have the Herb Kelleher Retro Livery 737 MAX 8, of course sporting the classic desert gold paint scheme. This aircraft came in from San Jose, California as flight 4119, and the next flight will be also to California as flight 4252 out to San Francisco, which I believe is a relatively new flight. They started earlier in March, so pretty cool that we get to include that in this video. At E22 is the Freedom 1 737-800. This aircraft just came in from Orlando as flight 437, and its next flight will be out to San Antonio, Texas as flight 1701. Next at gate E24 is a Southwest 737-700. This just came in from Long Beach, California as flight 2264, and the next flight is going to be out to Nashville as flight 3186. And pushing back from E24 is the beautiful Imua 1 737 MAX 8, of course representing the state of Hawaii. This aircraft landed earlier from Atlanta as flight 2850 and is now departing out to Denver as flight 399. Alright, best part of the update, at gate E29 we have the Lufthansa Airbus A330-300. Just came in from Frankfurt as flight 448, and in about 2 hours they'll head back out to Frankfurt as flight 449. Pretty crazy to think we're almost coming up on 2 years since Lufthansa began service to St. Louis. They began flights, I believe it was June of 2022, June 3rd, 2022. And what's even crazier is that they've been really successful on this route. I don't know why that's so surprising to me, but yeah, Lufthansa has consistently been achieving like pretty much almost full flights throughout their time in St. Louis. And so this is making them consider increasing frequencies to St. Louis up from the current thrice weekly service that they have from Frankfurt. And it's a good time to add that this exact flight always flies over my house here in Champaign as it approaches St. Louis. Unfortunately, I haven't seen it properly yet, so maybe sometime soon I'll be able to finally get out and try to spot it descending into St. Louis. I also remember a couple of years back when WOW Air used to fly to St. Louis, back when they even existed. Their flight would also fly over Champaign as it approached the airport. Moving on to gate E33, we have a Frontier Airbus A321. This aircraft just came in from Cancun as Flight 87 and will soon operate Flight 3107 out to Las Vegas. So Frontier has 3 international routes from St. Louis. 2 of them are seasonal, so Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, and Montego Bay, Jamaica, those are seasonal. But I think Cancun is all year round. So if you're familiar with St. Louis Airport, then you'd know that most of Frontier's flights, including the international departures, they actually go out of Terminal 1 Concourse C. But of course, the international arrivals, because this is the only part of the airport with a proper customs and immigration facility, the internationally arriving Frontier flights, they have to park at the E-gates. But then after about an hour or so, the aircraft will then get repositioned over to the C-gates to board for its next departure. So if I'm not mistaken, I think it's only the gates shown here that are used for international arrivals. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Whenever Lufthansa flies into St. Louis, I think they exclusively use E29 because it's the only wide-body compatible gate at this terminal. Again, please correct me if I'm wrong. And then I think E31 and 33 are used by Frontier, while Southwest, of course, they use all the gates because this is technically their terminal. And that's it. That's a basic overview of Terminal 2, and I think that's all I have to say for this update. So there we go. That was a quick update for St. Louis Terminal 2. Hope you all enjoyed it. Honestly, not much to add. I didn't want to make this video too long. But as far as random airports like this go, in the future, you can hopefully expect White Plains, New York, coming soon. Retro O'Hare Terminal 3 has been on the cards for a very, very long time, but I hope to make that a reality soon. And then also some sort of Atlanta update for like maybe 1 or 2 of the concourses. I have a bunch of Delta planes that I would like to put into an update. But yeah, those are some brief, random airport update plans to look forward to. Until then, though, until the next video, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.